Welcome to Fix My Shit, the relationship talk show where we keeping it real, honest, and all the way helpful. From situationships to marriages, friendships to family drama. If it's a ship, we're fixing it. Expect straight talk, real solutions, and a little bit of humor to help you steer your relationship in the right direction. If you vibing with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a drop. Let's get into it.
And we're not wanting to be stars or famous or clicks or likes, and we have to turn that stuff off. And now we got to focus on, hey, we are ministers of the gospel. We are here to minister to this soul, to this spirit, to uplift this person, because I'm not coming to be a spectacle, and I don't want my deliverance or my what I share to be your moment to share with everybody on your page. Like, no, it was a private moment that I really felt moved. I never felt like this before. I don't know what y'all call it, the Holy Ghost, the Spirit, whatever that is. Just, I know it was something, it was different, it felt good, and I shared, and now all of a sudden I see this on social media. My job is calling me. I ain't like that. No, this was private. No, I got a problem, and I feel them, because everything is not for social media. Everything is not. It's some stuff is private, and I think churches have to learn when to cut it off, when to end the social. How you say they
in the live, yes,
cast, and then you still minister to the people, or you still have your things. You be like, okay, you get that check in your spirit. I'm like, when did we stop hearing God? Discern, like, no, you know what? We need to cut this, and let's go on. So that's one aspect of that.
I definitely can relate to that. Y'all know I work on a media team at church, and we try not to. It's okay to get people in those vulnerable moments, but from a distance, where it's me because you know that it was me. That's the only reason, but not okay if I don't know you now. I can identify you in public, and I think we have lost a lot of that sanctity of allowing people to be vulnerable in church, and that's, I think, a lot of times why people don't get their deliverance either.
I wanted to add to, from a different perspective, what happens, and I would say the leadership ministry still goes on behind the scene, because the church can still be effective in their marriage ministry, in their singles ministry, but because you are the representative of the ministry, it's like you damaged the whole ministry. You brought a whole ministry down because of your infidelity, because of your stupidity. So church can still be a safe space in their several ministries, but because of you have brought down an entire church.
And I think the church being brought down, it's because, again, the social media. So the house may be good in-house, but what did you display to the public to say that it was rectified for whatever indiscretions it is? And somebody sitting down, hey, however they do that.
Right.
I won't get into all of that. How long do they sit down? Should they stand back up?
Right.
I don't know, but that goes into a whole nother thing. And I've been over here, y'all. I have been over here taking notes, because I'm like, no, I ain't missing no pieces of this conversation. I don't know how we gonna chop this discussion that we're having, but it's gonna be to be continued for y'all. But we pressing forward in the Lord. So something else I want to talk about that was brought up, because I didn't want to kind of like change the subject too fast, but it's going back to that where the facade or the things that we put before people, especially as women. And I'm okay with having a marriage ministry that is separated from the men and the women. I don't have a problem with that. But I also feel like the men and women need to come together. So it's kind of like women's ministry has taken place for marriage ministry. And I'm like, that's not what that is. Women's ministry is women's ministry. So if you're having marriage ministry with the men separate and the women separate, what is the point? So I'm kind of like going back to bringing all that back together. So I have a couple questions about that. And then as far as what we put forward, that face that we put forward, especially as women, men will tell you, y'all doing all this dress up, all this makeup, y'all doing all this stuff for y'all. We're so critical of each other when we step out the house. All the things that we're doing is not even for our husbands or our fiancés, whatever it is, our significant others. We're doing this to impress other women. And I really want everybody to think about that. When you get dressed and when you go out with your mate, why are you looking the way that you look? Why do you put on what you put on? Is it because you want your mate to look at you, or you want other people to, again, go back to that perception of what they think y'all got going on? And I think if we really understood what men looked at, we will all probably be going out the house in sweatpants and be like, oh, it's not that serious. So we put pressures on ourselves too. So let's, talk about that. Separating the men and the women and, our perceptions.
When I talked about that separation, that was just that time. Sometimes, and the majority of the time, we are together.
Okay.
We're together the majority of the time, but then you have ministry time where now the men don't want to come to anything. So it's like, so can I come because my husband don't want to come? So it was like, you know what? Let's just do what we say, take the few and do. So there are times, like I say, we come together. We've had the fireside chat, couples, you ask the questions, but then, okay, we're going to do it as women, because sometimes women, it's just so funny that when we're together, it's like, I'm afraid that I'm going to be exposing my husband or exposing my wife. And we still got questions because you can see the unfinished ministry have not really fully took place, because people want to keep up. Everything is fine. But then when you start calling like, oh, this couple they ain't even talking to each other. And it's like, wait a minute here. So how can we still minister? Because there are a lot of married women in church and their spouses don't go to church. So how do you minister to them and give them the opportunity to come and to share? So you have to take what you can, even though you still put it out there for the men. We do things as group, but then how do you minister? Because some people won't share when their spouse is there. A lot of control, a lot of abuse that is not even spoken of. And I'm talking about in God's house. That where is the safe place that, okay, let me just cover you. Let me cover my sister, and it won't go any further. And the other side, what was the...
Well, just a quick response.
Okay.
I think women need to take a little bit of ownership that when you start getting them phone calls, child, you heard what she said? Ooh, and stop it. I think if we do those little checks and balances, and sometimes maybe a quick little conversation, then that's it. It's how you talk about what it is. And I think if people are cautious of sharing because of those reasons, it's because they're also probably guilty of having those side conversations about what they heard in the group. So that's where you once you're vulnerable and you put it out there, then don't worry about it no more. And you can't, don't worry about it and don't care about it. So easier said than done. So
Well,
that was that. Go ahead.
I was gonna just say, well, for me, who's a married individual, who husband doesn't go to church like that. So I can go to marriage ministry, but my husband is not coming. So it's, and I don't try to make him come. But I'm still gleaning, from listening to other people. I don't beat him down about the word. I don't beat him down. But what I try to do is live a life. Now I'll hear him tell other people, oh, my wife this, or my wife, she know that word. or my wife, she go to church, or my wife, she be in the room praying. I pray in the house. My husband, though, he be like, oh Lord. At first, he used to be like, oh God, can you come down a little bit? I get the heat, you know. So he'd be like, you know. Then after a while, he'd just be like, let me just close. He'll just come and close the door, cause he'd be like, ain't no need of me.
Ain't no time in that.
Cause she gonna pray and she don't care what I see. You understand what I'm saying? So you live a life, you know. I just be like, you just have to live a life, regardless of whether they come to church or they don't. When they have marriage ministry, you know, how you say, every situation is going to be different, because sometimes you can have two people who both come to church and they don't even ride the cars together. You know, you can have
Or that's the only time they together is when they come to church and ride in the car.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, so it's like you get all kind of different situations. It's just we don't know. So I think you have to, I think churches, in the church's defense, the church can only work with what's there, you know. And in a lot of cases, it's more women in church than it is men. You know, so I'm gonna work with what I got. I can't say, well, the men and the women you need to make your husband come. You know, I do know that things changed once I got married. And how, you know, because I used to get a lot of invites and, Sister D, can you come and sing here, and can you go there, and all those things like that. You know, you get married, they be like, if your husband don't mind, to see if it's okay, you know. Then they don't call as much, you know, because they be like, no, you know, she married, you know. So men even start to operate differently on how they deal with you, even though you may be anointed, called, gifted, and all those things like that. It starts to shift when you're married. So I don't know. That's not always the church's fault. I think we as the members, we have to live a life that's pure and with more integrity, because people see us on a daily basis more than they see our pastors. More than they see our pastors, they see us. So they want to know, you know, they see the Jesus in you, you know. But if you cussing more than them, and you drinking more than them, and you sleeping around more than them, you know, yes, we may do certain things, but sometimes you got to be careful how you do that you don't cause them to go astray. So we have to be careful in how we do that, because again, remember what I said earlier about our nakedness. Some people can't handle your nakedness. Or you have to be careful what they see. So I can't let you see me, and you know, it's like, as a child, I don't want to see my mama and my daddy. Oh no, that's disgusting.
I don't want to see them now, and I'm older. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead, get your story. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, but I'm just saying, you understand? So certain things can't be seen.
Right.
They have to stay covered.
Yeah.
So we as believers, first of all, the problem is we're not keeping certain things covered. So why is the church being looked at as like, I don't want no part of church. I don't want to be married. I don't want to be in church. I don't want none of this stuff that y'all talk about. Talk about God, a Christian, believer, all this stuff like that, because the nakedness that they see is like, it's no integrity. You don't walk in truth. You're a liar. You're a thief. You're a homewrecker. You know, no. I don't want that. And I don't want that either.
And I think the church does a good job of covering what they want to cover.
Oh, most definitely.
That's all I got to say on that.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Hallelujah.
But you know, that's with anything though.
They cover what they want to cover.
And they cover who they want to cover.
Oh, Ibashi.
That's why I tell them,
Oh,
you know,
God.
it's kind of like, I was just talking to a coworker right before I came, and I was like, I got an email, and I was like, oh, They gave me and they told me I got this opportunity for this position. And she said, "Oh, you did?" And I said, "Oh yeah, cause you know, our boss said he was gonna, you know, help me out." So she was like, "Oh, well, he didn't help me. I filled out for something else." And I said, "Well, people do what they want to do, and they help who they want to help." But again, because sometimes you have favor, you know.
It ain't fair. That's my tag on my car. So I think that listen, we could go on and on and on, and we're gonna keep going on. So y'all say y'all don't want to go on anymore.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to edit.
Yes. So I have what I was thinking about too. Back to our discussion before, because like I said, I didn't want to stop y'all kind of going back and forth earlier. But when it comes to us sharing as women and even men, that part doesn't matter. I think when we share experiences with our spouses or about our spouses, sometimes in frustration, and you find out or that other people are going through the same thing that you're going through, and you realize it's kind of like, oh, that's just that gender that does that. I think for me, how I respond or change or try to rectify the situation is sometimes I just leave it alone. Because some things I just realize, okay, that's just how men are, and I'm not going to even worry about that, and I'm just going to have to learn how to live with it. Because by you sharing, that's when you understand how to overcome, and everything is not for you to fight or try to fix. And when you learn that this is the propensity of certain people or certain genders, it helps you to be at peace with it and say, okay, if all of these people are experiencing the same things that they're experiencing, then it's just something that I have to learn how to live with. So I think people need to understand that side of that too. When you understand that other people are going through the same thing, and it's almost like it's the same exact story. You just changing the person who it is. So that's, just to be fair to the men and the women, that goes on both sides. I think definitely if we had some men here, they'd probably say the same thing. All of y'all do that.
I can agree with that. Definitely agree with that, because everything is not a fight. That's why I said, why does God allow it to be revealed to you or to be shared with you at the time that he allows it to be shared? Because he's trying to show you, number one, you're not alone. Number two, how do you deal with this, right? Do I pray about it? Do I fight for it? Do I shut up and be quiet? Because, can we sometimes get mouthy? We can, So sometimes it's like, no, I need you to learn. You be like, well, what? Because when you start to hear people and how they deal with it, how they enter, you be like, oh, it starts to make you to reflect inward and say, well, what? Ooh, oh, I don't think I'd be. Ooh, oh, I need to grow in that area, because ooh, baby, I'd be cutting up, right? So we have to be honest with ourselves about where we are, in certain aspects of our relationship, because we ain't got it all together. We can't play the victim in everything. Sometimes we have to be like, ooh, ouch. Ooh, I need to I got to do better. We may not want to admit it to our spouse, but we got to do better, because why? The Holy Spirit is right now convicting you and saying, hey, I need you to grow in this area. I'm not bringing it because I want to condemn you, but I want you to, so that your marriage can continue to blossom and grow. I need you to recognize this right now. Right? Now you have a choice. Right? I always say the greatest power that God has given man is the power to choose. That's why he said you can choose life or death. Right? Do I want this relationship to stay alive? Or do I want it to become a dead thing and like, right? No, I want to live in peace. I want it to be a good thing. I want it to be joyous. It may not be, how you say, everything may not be like I want it to be, or I may not have everything that I want to have, but I can be at peace and I can still have joy in my relationship, you know. So yeah, sometimes we gotta grow.
I just want to say a sidebar. Men are mouthy sometimes too, but okay.
Most deaf. But see, my perspective of that is no. Sometimes I feel like they are more. Well, I guess women can be controlling. Because I'd be like, sometimes I feel like they are more controlling, but that's
controlling. What do you mean when you say they're more
They want to
controlling?
raise up.
Yes,
Letting
they
all
like
man and them.
you know,
I want to hear the deepness in the voice here.
you know.
Sometimes that backfires though.
And they like to control the conversation. So it's like, I'm going to say everything I want to say and now conversation over.
Right.
And I'd be
Right.
like, wait a minute, hold up. No, I'm going to say, oh, well, you said that already. or I already know what you're going to say because you say the same thing over and over again. Oh, you said that already. I'd be like, no, I didn't. And if I said it, that means you did not understand what I said. Oh, okay.
That was a sidebar.
Oh,
Most
okay.
deaf.
Oh, okay. So I'm like,
Sidebar.
so again, those are those things in marriages that everybody be like, ooh, you feel me, you know what I'm talking about. But again, because we communicate in different ways and how we understand each other. But again, they know.
Relationships.
So I'm gonna take another little turn. For those of y'all who don't know, I be on Clubhouse all the time. Clubhouse is the real people that I talk to, even though that's the app. Y'all hear mother over there, right? So I asked them, and I said, "What is something?" I'm getting ready to start, this channel. We're gonna be talking about relationships, and what is something that you think people need, whether they single, married, whatever the case is, something that needs to be discussed. And the big word that they came up with was boundaries. So I ain't gonna even ask no questions, just what do y'all have to say about boundaries in relationships? Whether it's marriage, friendships, anything. Boundaries.
I think every relationship, regardless of what it is, you gotta have boundaries, but you have to. Sometimes you can set boundaries ahead of times, and sometimes people cross boundaries that they did not know that they were crossing. So you have to remind them, don't do that again. So you can have preset boundaries, and then some boundaries won't come until the experience happen. And it's like, oh no, I gotta set a boundary right there. So I think every relationship, marriage, single, whatever it is, friendship, boundaries are good.
Yes, you definitely have to set boundaries in relationships. I am a person, because I am very, very helpful. Although I am a strong leader, I'm very, very helpful. I'm very, very thoughtful. But sometimes people tend to think that they own me. And so I have to set boundaries in that you don't own me, right? Yes, you are a part of my life. You may have more priority in my life than other people or another person. You may be at the top of the list, right? But that doesn't negate that when I say I'm going to church. Oh, you're not going to church today. Excuse me?
Devil is a liar.
Or like if I'm at work and, we've built a relationship because we have a working relationship, and now when I'm talking to someone else, it's like, come on, let's go. I'll be like, hey, hold on. You see me on my conversation? It's like, well, you acting funny. How am I acting funny? You see me having a conversation with somebody else. Like, I'm not just your
Property.
okay, you don't own me. And I will come when I get through, So for me, yes, boundaries have to be set in all areas. I don't care what relationship it is, because people have this thing of they own you. And I'm like, you don't own me and you don't dictate to me. We can have a conversation. You can tell me, well, I really feel like you shouldn't go. Because, I know at one particular time, in my marriage, my husband would be quick like, oh, you're not going. And I'd be like, wait, hold on. So, he liked to spell GROWN. And I used to be like, I'm GROWN too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I used to say, no. You can tell me why you would not like for me to go. And maybe I might say, I might consider it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start talking to me like that, I'd be like, I want to do what I want to do. Because you can't tell me what to do. Because, yes, it is.
That's that bad saint.
Well, I guess I was a bad
I
saint.
said it equals a rebel. Amen. Go ahead.
So
Disobedient.
So I'd be like, what?
The husband is the head. They talking about it. I thought the man was in charge.
But then there were other times, because like I used to be in all these different groups and I would travel and stuff a lot and things like that. And he would be like, so he learned to ask me differently. So now when he started to challenge me differently, it made me be like, ooh, wait a minute. So now instead of saying, oh, you can't go, I'd be like, who you talking to? Now he would say, well, do that.
You did?
How does that benefit the house? Now I'm gonna reflect differently because now I'm like, but this ain't benefiting the house in no kind of way. Now I'm looking at everybody like, hey, y'all taking up my time. I'm spending money. I'd be like, so he made me look at it a whole different way. I'd be like, no, y'all wasting my time. Exactly. So again, in dealing with those boundaries, if we respect those boundaries and we question each other correctly, or we, and how we approach it, then things can be better received and not treating people like you own them, and be respectful. I think that's another thing in boundaries. Be respectful. One thing I've always been is I always try to be respectful of my husband. I never called him by his name. Now I might have been accused of some things, been called some things, and I'd be like, I call you by your name. I don't call you out your name. I try to respect you as a man because I believe men are very big on respect, but I want to be respected too. Don't call me out my name. Talk to me right. Boundaries. Setting expectations. So sometimes you do have to set the expectations, and some, like Mama said before, some of those things you're not gonna deal with it until they arise, and you have to address it when it arises. But so those are two things that I see with boundaries. You don't own me, and be respect that once I say something, respect how I feel. It doesn't mean that I don't love you, but okay, respect those boundaries. And what you got to say?
That I think you are gonna have some unexpected boundaries because you like I never thought about this or whatever, and that's where respect and communication is gonna be key. I'm really big on communication. I do not care what issue it is that you have. If you cannot communicate about the issue that you have, you are not going to have any type of relationship. It's going to end. So if you're avoiding each other, it's going to create problems. So I think boundaries need to be respected. If you can clearly indicate them, yes, you indicate them. With boundaries, I guess for me, and even when I asked them and they said that, I don't know if I have a lot of boundaries, or maybe it's just I haven't thought about it and put it on paper and communicated it, but I don't know. I think I'm a forgiving person. So even sometimes that I think people have crossed the line in the boundary, I end up being able to allow them to recover from that. So I think I'm pretty liberal with my boundaries, where other people are not.
And I think we are. It's just that I think that's where we respond differently. I'm not going to give you an opportunity to cross me because we may not have looked at it as a boundary. but it affect my relationship with you because number one, people know how to agitate you, you know. So it's like, you know what? Let me deal with this person on a different level or a different perspective. Let me just deal with you differently because I see where you're going. Everybody's not a discerner. So they're not going to pick up what, like they think they playing games and using you and all these different things. And I put it this way, nobody can use you if you don't allow yourself to be used. You know, you're not using me. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, baby. You're not using me. So.
And that was what I had on my paper. But she was like, what do you have in your boundaries? What is it that men see that women do not see when it comes to how she was saying she was going here, going there, doing all these different engagements? Men see it as being used, and women are like, no, I choose to be used. So what is it that men see differently that causes them to kind of like be that protector and be like, no, I don't want you doing this no more? You know, respectfully, they don't want you to engage or at least cut down on some of the things that it is that you're doing. But I feel like women are like, when I get sick and tired, that's when I stop.
Well, I think it's like when he asked me that question, how is this benefiting the house? How is this benefiting our family? You know, you're just going. You don't have time to do the things, you know. So how you say, when it starts to interfere with where you have no balance, you know, you're giving all your time to helping other people or being committed to this organization or participating over here in this I'm ministering and or I'm at church or this, but then you don't have time to cook, you don't have time to clean, you don't have time for fellowship with your husband, you don't have time for your children, you don't have time. So when you don't have time for home but you got time for everything else, then yes, he's gonna always see it like, hey, that's a problem, because now when if I ask you to spend a little time with me and you like, oh well, I always got to go here, and I'm never making the time to say, hey, this is our time, right? Then I haven't respected our marriage or communicated, you know, what his needs are. Right? I haven't respected what his needs are because he's trying to communicate. I feel like he's trying to communicate what he needs from me, you know, and not just what I want to feel like I'm being fulfilled. You know, like, hey, well, this is making me happy, so I'm doing everything to make me happy. It's not just about me, because I decided that I wanted to be in a covenant relationship. So I also, too, have to understand that everything in my life is not just going to be about me. I also have to make sure that he's happy too, and that I'm doing some of the things that make him happy, and that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. What are our agreements? Okay, if I feel like it was too much, did we, like you said earlier, did we communicate? Did we come together? Did we talk about it so that we can make some adjustments, so that, hey, sometimes I could do some of the things I want, and then sometimes he could do some of the things he wants. You understand? Because sometimes I feel like, hey, I need my alone time by myself. And he may feel like, hey, I need my alone time. I want to go fishing. I want to go ride out and go with it. Okay, fine, no problem. You understand what I'm saying? And I need to respect that. And I'll be like, well, how long you going to be there? Well, when you come from, no. Respect his time, just like I don't want him bothering me when I'm out. Don't be bothering him when he out. Mm-hmm. You understand? Again, boundaries. You know, all those things. And sometimes we as women, we don't respect those things too. You know, like we want certain things, but then are you asking for things that you ain't willing to give? Mm-hmm. That becomes another problem too. So I know that'll start taking us somewhere else, but yeah.
I know. And we're ready. We just gonna chop and screw it up, and it is what it is.
It's like older mothers used to teach us years ago. You take care of home first. What you don't do at home, you don't come serving the pastor if you haven't served at home. So that had became since the beginning, and it has been 47 years of being saved, but of being in the church, because in the beginning, I think what saved our marriage in the beginning, we started going together. So everything we were doing together, but they always taught us, they may not have called it women's ministry, but the women met. The older women taught the younger women how to take care of home first, take care of home, So I guess that is ingrained in me now, even raising 4 kids, and if I take care of home and you still upset, then I ignore you, because you can
boundary.
You can do everything. It's almost like a baby. You done fed them, you done changed them, and you still crying. So that's where you have to say, you know what? I've taken care of you, and I'm gonna do. Because you join ministries, especially when you talk about church, you don't neglect home. You got to take care of home. But still, they just want you in the space in front of them and don't do nothing. But that in the beginning, you're talking about a long time married, but
honeymoon phase.
Yeah,
And there are levels to that, because how you say in the beginning of marriage, okay, I had a child at home, going to school, things of that. I'm an empty nester. I'm not cooking every day. Sure,
I ain't, and I'm not cooking every day. I'm not an empty nester, and I'm not cooking every day. I don't understand what's the problem. I don't.
But that's the agreement.
Okay. We talking about y'all, not me. I interject. Okay,
so
all right, got you.
For me, I'd be like,
Agreement.
Okay, boundaries.
I'm
Okay.
not cooking every week.
Because I still get it now. And you talking about after 50 years, it's like, you won't cook. I ain't got to cook. So my it's a different response.
Oh, triggered. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what that is.
But I think
it's levels. It's levels to it.
Yes, it is. Different seasons. We're gonna call them seasons, not levels. We call these seasons.
Walk into your season.
In your season. What's your winter?
So see, whereas me, my husband, I could just be like, hey, okay, I'm on the way home. You want me to stop?
Pick up something?
That's it.
And he be like, oh, you can stop the Subway.
Nah, thank you.
You can stop the KFC. You can stop that, and he okay, and he content. You understand? Where some people's husband may not be content with that. Right. You understand?
And in everybody's story.
I could come and say, no, I don't want that. Then he'll be like, well, okay, I guess we'll figure out something in the house. Yeah, I'll figure out something. And we okay, and we all right, and we ain't mad.
That's that senior marriage. Because with the junior marriage in the family, I had to tell my son-in-law, be careful what you start, because you're gonna have to finish it. So now you cooking, cooking, and now y'all done got some years in, and now it's like you wanted to revert.
Are you gonna help me? Help me! Help you!
I told you there's no refund, and the locks have been changed.
Oh my God! So I'm hearing balance versus neglect versus compromise. I'm gonna just drop that and going on. So with boundaries, going a little bit back, as far as how some of us are more seasoned. So some of us have been blessed and we are in retirement and not working.
Yeah.
What are the boundaries that you have now or had when you were working, as far as coming home to decompress and needing space or whatever you needed for your boundary to decompress?
I think mine was, I don't know whether it just happened because we had the 4 kids, so he made this habit, and y'all know, he come in, he drop that bag, he go pray. But that wasn't after retirement. It's like, I retired and I don't want to do nothing.
From all auxiliaries?
From all auxiliaries and ministries and all capacities. And he meant that word. So, but I feel for me, I want to still be relevant. I don't want to not learn. I don't want to not glean and sit and retire. And this is where I say I thank God. Not that I can 100% relate to the younger, but we can mix together like, okay. You know, so I found myself in my senior years going back to children's ministry. So, because I still want to be active, I just feel that I still want to be a part. It may come the time where, okay, sit down. But I know when we left pastoring and joined another ministry, I did nothing for 5 years. And it bothered me so much because I was always involved in ministry. And it was like I couldn't get in not one ministry. I tried for 5 years. And it wasn't until after that time God said that was your sabbatical. You know, so I'm like, sit down and be served because I'm always serving. I'm happy to serve. I want to serve. Sit down.
Was that when you was rolling under the pews?
No.
Okay.
When we were at after pastoring.
Okay.
This was after pastoring. We joined another ministry.
Okay.
I could not get involved, and I'm like, I have never tried so hard to serve. It was hard to serve, and I did not hear God say, "Sit down." But it wasn't until after that time I recognized that was your sabbatical.
He probably said sit down, but he didn't yell it. God is a gentleman.
Of course.
And he probably told you to sit down. Because I know when I go to a new ministry, I hear sit down all the time.
Mm-hmm.
After God, I have no problem hearing the Lord when he says sit down.
But when I go, even here, even when I went there, I'm like, we're here to serve. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't give him no title. Didn't tell him what we did. But it's because your gifts comes out. You know, it's like, he called me evangelist, and I had never said one word. Not one word. You know, I won't say I didn't say one word. I was serving, and it was like, I became part of the ministerial staff, but I could not get involved in no ministry. I don't know why. And I was
That
like,
ain't my story. I be trying to chill.
Sit down.
I be,
Yes, Lord.
I be like, ooh, yes.
Most
I
def.
don't know. Oh my God. Okay. I be like, all right. But I'm like,
what we been?
So we over here discussing how long we've been going. Y'all, do you have the timer? Because I'm not going to tell you until we done.
No.
You don't know how long we're going. Good, I ain't telling you what it is until we done. It's been over an hour already.
Wow.
You wanted to say something?
I don't know. I forgot what we was talking about.
No, sitting down when you go to a new ministry.
Yeah, but I don't have no problem sitting down. The problem is
God can't
like
use
you
you
say,
sitting down.
It comes out.
I cannot hide, and I don't care. I don't care where I go. I do a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this year being at a new school. I'm like, and it's like, they like, no, you need to be in leadership. They be trying to give me that walkie-talkie. I be like, no. I'm like, no.
Get those chains off the doors.
Okay. Like, Miss Richardson, you can't
for consultation.
Code 10.
She can
Enemy
handle
there.
it. Go get Miss Richardson.
But I said, yeah. So, you know, when you are called, and even chosen, how you say, many are called but few are chosen. And I always say, when you have been chosen, not even just called, I you know, you don't get to hide. You don't get to sit for very long because God says, I have purpose. I have need of you, and you can't know. The earth is groaning, and I need you. I need the righteous planting and watering so that I can give increase. Because that's according to his word. We gotta plant and we gotta water.
Thanks for selling with us today on Fix My Ship, where no relationship is beyond repair. If something spoke to you, challenged you, or helped you see things differently, do us a favor. Like, comment, and subscribe so you stay anchored to the truth and growth. Until next time, keep your heart open, your mind renewed, and your ship headed in the right direction. Peace and progress.